Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Continuing our playthrough here on All Quiet in the Trenches, where we have just entered a trench phase after our first camp phase coming back from home leave. Now, we did pretty good in the camp phase. We managed to completely remove all traces of lice, including skin rashes, which was definitely acting as an indicator. Now, the good weather has all been removed, which is a bit of a shame. We have rashes for 2 turns, and there is a skirmish going on. We, of course, then are, in that point, low on rations. And Lieutenant von Karsbrook would like to play a little trick on the French. Send some of your men into no man's land tonight and cut through the barbed wire just outside the French trenches. Then the French will think we are preparing an attack and will barely dare to sleep out of fear. Sure, love to. What have we got in terms of position then? A defensive position over here. And oh, we've got a hold here. We've got a... This is the trench I was in last time. Now, I'm sure they're supposed to rebuild some of these points. You know what? I am going to do a cheeky rebuild here. And so... Am I, though? All of my things are like building placements on. Even that's a 3-man as well. Got the barbed wire. Now, who is potentially lacking some skills? You're a poacher. You're a sniper. You're a hard worker. Or a helper, even. I think so. You, Spitbow, Blackner. None of which are friends. In fact, let's say male. Male's friends with everybody, right? Yeah. And you. Spitbow. Fetch rations. Hang on, cut barbed wire. Pedersen and Ackerman can go and fetch some rations. Alright, back to camp in 9 turns. But obviously, as we are getting further into the war and conditions continue to deteriorate, that has a higher chance of being extended. Gas! Came a shout, presumably from the left section of the trench. All the soldiers were wide awake in an instant. There was agitated murmuring, boots squelching in the mud, equipment clattering. A few minutes later, however, Lieutenant von Karsbrook appeared, visibly annoyed. Tear gas, no need to panic, he said curtly. Masks stay off. We have to be alert and able to see if the French are coming. I asked the lieutenant if we should be more careful. Even with the tear gas, the masks are... The lieutenant interrupted me immediately. Do you see a mask on my face? No. I suddenly realized that I had never seen the lieutenant wearing a gas mask before. And do you see me lying on the ground gasping for air? No. Now keep your eyes on no man's land. With a nod, I signaled my men to take off their masks, which they had already started to do. It wasn't long before we felt the effects of the tear gas on our eyes, but only slightly. No burning in the throat, no pressure on the chest. The burning in our eyes was accompanied by a faint smell of musty hay. Is that all? Lotz asked dryly. They want to make us cry, Ackerman added. Compared to cutting onions for Zelensky, this is nothing. A few of them laughed. Watch out, Ackerman, said Pedersen. Next they'll throw perfume at you. The quick tension dissipated, and the all clear was given right after. No attack, no shelling. Just a test, they said. Or an attempt to intimidate us. Ackerman later said he wet himself, but only his eyes, from laughing. Oh, interesting. Male has a broken leg, and he's only in the field hospital. I mean, I'm sorry, that's like a 6-week injury. That's near enough go home. Male was injured trying to carry out your orders. We took him to the hospital, but his wounds didn't look too bad. I think he'll recover. Yeah, just a slight broken leg. Upset and resentful removed. Okay, no extras. Disappointed removed, belonging and relieved added. While rested removed, high prestige removed because I questioned the lieutenant. And changed to 3 days worth of ration. Yes, sir. We need more space here for reinforcements, for ammunition, as the basis for our future victory. Of course, you know, probably not going to be too happy with me. Well, at least we don't have too many extra orders. The shelling has stopped. No, it hasn't. I lied. We have, however, rebuilt this. So our trench is looking a smite better. Now, let's fetch rations. Right, Ackerman can go fetch rations once more. Pedersen and Fleckner can dig the bunkers, and I'm going to send the rest of you go get those rations as well. And let's see if we can do slightly better than one additional turn of rations. A few minutes earlier, they had carried a dead man out of the shelter on our left. No bullet wounds, no shrapnel, just a pale, blue face. Last night, he had complained of irritated eyes and a tightness in his chest, just like half a dozen others. The faces in my troop also looked more tired than usual. Pedersen coughed dryly. Fleckner complained of a stabbing headache. Nothing dramatic, but enough to be suspicious. Could that be from the tear gas? Bauer asked. We have to report that, don't we? My men looked at me uncertainly. I'm going to task Smithbauer with gathering information from the other sections. Which he did faster than Pedersen could make a cup of coffee. No one else has died, but over there they've got someone who's in a really bad way. He can hardly breathe. On the other side, there aren't many complaints, but they also said the gas barely got to them, said Smithbauer, panting. He seemed to have really hurried. One more thing. Someone said it was phosgene. It's sometimes mixed with chlorine gas, and it's hell on earth. God damn it, if I die because of this, Pedersen shouted. Who, to make matters worse, had spilled coffee on his hand. What do we do now? I reported it to the lieutenant. I decided to pass the information on to the lieutenant, who did not seem surprised. Your assessment is correct. We are currently assuming it was a mixture of tear gas and phosgene, he explained. His expression hardened. You ought to know that phosgene gas is invisible and deadly. An underhanded tactic. No courage, no fight. Cowardly and without honor. He paused for a long time and let his gaze wander over the trench. Under-officer, thank you for the detailed information from your section of the trench. I hope your men make it through safely. Your assessment yesterday was correct. The gas mask could have helped. But don't let that go to your head. Then he looked at me again. Not a word to anyone. Fear is a poison even more potent than any gas. I told the soldiers the truth. There was no point in lying to them. They would question it anyway as soon as the next reports of more death spread throughout the trenches. They looked at me silently. Pedersen hunched his shoulders as if it had suddenly gotten colder. So that's it for me. God help me. Smithbauer reassured him. You'll get through this. There are some comrades who are much worse off than you. Pedersen is in the field hospital. Severe cough, shortness of breath. Something is going on in the French trenches. Someone should take a closer look. So, shaken and dejected have been added from these two. What are those? Oop. And of course, he's got shortness of breath and severe cough. And so we have 7 turns worth of food. That will mostly get us through. The skirmish has stopped, but we did drop down to a good mood. We did get our prestige back. That was a pretty nice rise. Headquarters is not giving us any jobs. I don't know why we're holed up in the bunkers exactly. I don't know if that come off the story, as in everybody's just kind of holding up and they're scared of gas, etc. Or whether this is a bug, because like I said, there's no artillery, which is usually why we hold up in the bunkers, and this doesn't seem to ring any bells in my head, basically. With this artillery bombardment, there is no artillery bombardment. Interesting. I'm curious as to whether he still has a higher chance of injury, but this is definitely a mistake. The reports spread through the trenches like rats. Entire sections were affected. In some cases, even the rear trenches. 3 dead in the east alone. 5 in the south. One had simply collapsed whilst using the latrine. Another had stormed out of the trench, as death by gunfire seemed more heroic to him. The stories differed in detail, but not in essence. It was phosgene, it was deadly, and nothing was done about it. All of this could have been avoided if we had simply worn the masks, Lotz said harshly, glancing at the shelter where Pedersen had been lying until just a moment ago. His condition had worsened. He was experiencing chest pains and his skin had turned blue. I had taken him to the field hospital, even though they said they were at full capacity and there was no medicine for it anyway. We were probably lucky that it didn't hit us harder, Ackerman remarked. Phosgene doesn't spread far, a small consolation. I kept silent. The last few days had taken their toll on all of us. We could only hope that Pedersen would recover and that the French wouldn't launch another attack. Nobody spoke up to say that they were happy that I attempted to defend them. At what point, Mail escaped quite well, didn't he? Because he was already back in the field hospital with his broken leg. Which, I don't know, I feel like that should be him from the war now, if I'm honest. Pain added. We have 3 more coming in. Well rested added from Ackerman. Good mood is, we're down to a neutral mood. Change rations to 8 turns. It's weird, it's like Pedersen has just disappeared. That's why I'm now on rations for 8 turns. Yeah, I don't know. There was a slight mix-up between, I feel, the front end and the back end there, but we'll carry on. Resentful added, upset added, relieved and belonging removed, determined removed, disappointed added. So we lost several good feelings and we added several bad feelings. And we have what I believe is our first rivalry, Spitbauer and Fleckner. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Fleckner asks if he's the most pious of all, and yet his faith is a farce. I don't know how long I can still bear to listen to his heresy. So to this heresy. We do have a task, it seems. Another communication trench collapsed. Gather your shovels. Your men rebuilding. That's not the greatest of... Oh, yeah, look, Mail's nice and rested. Ackerman, Lotz, and Fleckner. Change to rations for 7 turns. So we have 2 more turns worth of rations, then we have turns in the trench. We'll see how we go. Lots. Fleckner wasn't doing so well, so I sat down with him for a bit. We talked for quite a while. I think that helped him. A lot. Dejected removed. Belonging added. Good mood added. Thank you, Lots. I need someone to deliver a message to headquarters. Send me your quickest man. I do actually have somebody who is yes, and he is also very by the book. I was going to send Spitbauer anyway, for the reason that he is by the book. He is also swift, and I feel like I've just been given a Christmas present early. Well rested added to Ackerman. Tired added to Spitbauer. Foggy added. Changed to 6 turns. Fog is fantastic. What do you think? Do you want to play a little trick on the French? No, not really. Not really at all. Cut barbed wire. Ackerman and Lotz, I guess. Lotz, who is becoming friends with everybody again. Because Lotz is apparently one of the most liked soldiers in the whole trench. Not sure why. Really, not sure why. Absolutely nothing going on. Suspicious. Very, very suspicious. Arrested added, tied removed. Another communication trench collapsed. So we will send same 3. And we get back to camp, however. As I mentioned, worsening conditions, less soldiers to relieve those in the trenches. Artillery has started. Artillery has really started. Three resounding impacts behind us, very close by. My men jumped up and looked at me in panic. There had been more skirmishes for hours. Shots, shouts, occasional impacts. We had experienced this many times before, but this time it was different. Recently, it was reported that the French were firing their gas with artillery shells. No slow release, as practiced by the Germans. It required favorable wind and weather conditions. Explosive ammunition and gas were used alternatively, so that during artillery fire, it was never clear whether poison gas was a threat or not. Now the gas came from the sky, like everything else. "Masks on!" I cried out. No one hesitated. Almost simultaneously, everyone grabbed their gas mask container, took out their gas masks, and pulled them over their heads in a matter of seconds. Only Fleckner still had his helmet on, holding the mask upside down, fumbling with the straps with trembling hands and finally dropping it into the dirt. Panic rose in his eyes. "Help him, Ackerman." "Help him," I ordered Ackerman, who was standing less than 3 steps away from him. He rushed over to Fleckner at lightning speed, picked up the dirty mask and pulled it roughly over his face. It was a little brutal, but effective, because the mask stayed in place. We howled out for a while longer. There were no more impacts and no other noises. Fleckner, who had been breathing loudly and nervously at first, slowly calmed down. "All clear," I finally said, and took off the mask again. We were told to watch out for duller impacts, yellow-green clouds of fog, and a pungent smell. None of that had happened. It seemed we had dodged a bullet. Tide removed, tide added, 2 turns worth of rations. Do we get to go? I think so, because we've lost all of our assigned people tasks. Pack your things. We were relieved. Back to camp. And let's see how we're doing. I'm gonna guess full hospital? No, actually, not that bad at all. 7 turns worth of rations because we are at a reduced squad. Your unit is tasked with guard duty. 22 men to patrol the camp. Oh, what else have we got? Sorry. After all this time out here, sometimes you suddenly realize you have actually improved. I feel like I've learned something new after all. Oh, he's been trained in shooting. I will take it. I will most certainly take it. His morale is terrible, mind you. Oh, he disappointed, nauseated, upset, and resentful. Fleckner is not doing great either. He is also extremely tired of this war. Under officer, Lotz beckoned me over to him cheerfully. In front of him lay a partially unpacked parcel that he'd received from his loved ones back home. Among the various small items was a large piece of ham. He cut off a chunk with his knife and held it out to me, grinning happily. "Try it. My family has spoiled me rotten this time." Your comrades would surely appreciate a piece. I mean, he's friendly with 3 of them. 2, however, are in the hospital. He seemed a little surprised at first, but soon a smile spread across his face again. Good idea. I'll stop by the others later and see if they want a piece. Then, he resumed looking through his package. Okay, bad weather has been added to... Oh, Smithbauer is even more tired of war. Pedersen now has pneumonia. Lotz is very sociable. Grief has been removed from Lotz, that's also good. Heat wave added, along with that bad weather. The hospital is fuller, supplies are decreasing. Lotz is well rested. Fleckner is well rested. Lotz got good news. Yes, Pedersen is not doing good. Our supplies are running low. Can you help us out? Of course. Is there anything else? You have someone to spare to watch over Pedersen at the field hospital? Yes. Yes, I do. Gather up patrols and secure the area. Make sure your people keep their eyes open. They aren't going for a stroll. Who knows what riffraff is hiding out there? Thieves, poachers, spies. So let's not send mail out poaching, basically, is the idea. Hospital, ooh, went down to partially occupied just from giving them bandages. I like that. I also improved my relationship a little bit with Nurse Elizabeth. Wound recovery worsens. Right workload. Offer assistance. Accept. Leave. I definitely pressed the right buttons. Beautiful. It's come up. Right. So patrol. Very good eyes. Keep Pedersen company. He's his friend. He's also his friend. He's also very sociable. Right, so he's going to look after Pedersen. This in hospital. Patrol goes to... Just going to have to weather the storm. Mail. What's up, my friend? He shouldn't need to be treated for lice. Next turn. Will Pedersen make it? Male's leg has been healed. Shortness of breath removed. Pain removed. All from Pedersen. That is amazing. Hospital partially occupied also removed. Broken leg removed. So, Male's just back to full duty. He's still extremely grieving and tired of war. Bauer and Fleckner just had a nasty fight. For a moment there, it looked like it might even get physical. Both have been generally agitated for a while already. I guess today it boiled over. The situation has calmed down for now, but it's clear they're not on the greatest of terms right now. They are rivals. After all this time out here, sometimes you suddenly realize that you have actually improved. We get Swift added. Look at his skills. Trained in first aid, trained in shooting, swift, and dexterous. That is, that's pretty impressive. Oh wow, you are, yeah. Wound is healing very well, sir. There is no wound. Very confused. He's not been wounded for a very long time. He's ready for duty again. Alright, well, I've just learned all about him. Not that I read any of it, but I've learned all about him. A major is planning an attack. Prepare your men for battle. We'll be at it again soon. A unit is tasked with guard duty. 1 to 2 men go on a small walk around the perimeter. So I have engagement in 3 turns. Whipbauer. Grant reward. Bigger rations. Nice. Somebody hate me for that. No. And I only lost 1 turns of extra worth of rations, which... Okay, I can live with that one. Nauseated was removed, grateful was added. Got that slight switch around. If I can get rid of upset, resentful, and disappointed, then maybe, just maybe, he won't run away. We'll find out. An unusually large number of my men were sitting together that evening, playing cards or talking quietly. I too was in the mood for company. The atmosphere was somber. 2 years ago today, the war had begun with the Sarajevo assassination. It was a sad anniversary, and one that many of my men, myself included, found difficult to bear. Schmidbauer dropped his cards on the table and suddenly said loudly, "Actually, we can be glad that things finally got off the ground back then. I mean, it was unbearable. Now at least we can do something for our country instead of just waiting for something to finally happen." Irritated, Fleckner also lowered his cards. "You think this is better? That's the same talk we heard back then. A little war now, a brave stand for the Vaterland, and we'll be in Paris by Christmas eating foie gras. And where are we now? We'll probably still be lying here in the mud next Christmas, with nothing but Kommersbrot and the fear that soon another one of us will bite the dust." War would have broken out one way or another. Both of them are really in bad condition. I said. The situation was already so heated, it only needed a final spark. Schmidbauer nodded in agreement, but Fleckner frowned at me. A heated discussion broke out among my men. They rarely got as political as they did tonight. A conflict over a small country in the Balkans had sparked a wildfire 2 years ago, and it was still raging today, with fighting now taking place even on islands in the Pacific and the savannas of German East Africa. Who could say how long this would continue and what horrors still lay ahead? What have we got? Grateful was removed from a lot of people. That's never particularly good. Large rations have been removed from Schmidbauer. Ackerman and Fleckner, condition goes up. Schmidbauer, condition goes up. Pedersen no longer has pneumonia, which is amazing. Well rested. Well rested. High prestige removed. Did I just forget to send people on patrol? Did I just do that? I think I just did that, didn't I? My bad. The tree is filled to the brim. The harvest has begun in the village. I definitely just forgot to send people on that patrol. You're slacking off, don't disappoint me again. One of my patrols was scheduled to return yesterday, so if I can find the patrol, I can get some brownie points back. We have an engagement in 2 turns. Pedersen has a severe cough. That's much better than when he was admitted. Let's hope, folks. Let's hope. Missing patrol. Let's send Googly Eyes and his mate. Let's send Ackerman, because I don't want to send Fleckner or Schmidbauer. Let's hit next turn. Definitely put people on their jobs this turn. Mail had been getting drunk all evening with some of his comrades. It was already late, when all of a sudden he bellowed into the crowd. "It's no use. How much longer are we going to die in the mud for this wretched Frenchman?" Soldiers around him fell silent. Some looked over at me. It was my job to be there for him. I got up, sat down next to him, put a hand on his shoulder, and said to him, "Soldier, you mustn't lose heart. We need you here just as much as any of your comrades. Sleep it off, and tomorrow the world will already look brighter again." "You're right," he mumbled, then staggered into his tent. After a while, the other soldiers resumed their conversations and soon too retreated to their tents. Can I please have turned off his... Oh, Lotz has made it into the field hospital. I see. Disappointed, upset, shaken, dejected, and resentful, all removed from a bunch of people. Absolutely fantastic. Ackerman becomes nauseated. That's not a surprise. Type 4 added to Lotz. Upset added. Shaken added. Pain added. Penetrating gunshot wound to the arm added. Shortness of breath added to Pedersen. Terrible, terrible turn of events for my guys. So, how did you manage that one? Lot was shot by our own people. They thought we were deserters, despite our uniforms and everything. It was all very chaotic, poor visibility, and some nervous lad who wanted to be a hero was too quick on the trigger. Well then. But the question is, did we find the patrol? One of your comrades is guilty of the most heinous crime a soldier can commit. Desertion. Gather your people immediately to hunt that traitor. That's an interesting story to add on. A few bad feelings going round. Find that deserter. He's quick, but he can't see. He's quick and he can see. Very unpatriotic, though. Let's send Ackerman. No, let's send Mail. Do I want to let these two go to the pub? Might help. It might just help. I'm going to. I'm going to send them to the pub. I'm sorry, Madame LaRoche. They're not very nice people either. I am sorry. Won't know the effects until after the engagement either. Have an event. This morning, Mail was nowhere to be found. No one had seen him leave. When I was told that his personal belongings were also no longer in his tent, it was immediately clear to me what must have happened. Wow, I didn't realize he was this bad. Oh wow, very much wow. Ooh la la, oh wow. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. I didn't realize he was a flight risk at this point. I hadn't realized he was so bad. I reported this to the lieutenant as quickly as possible, and he immediately set the Feld Gendarmerie in motion to arrest the deserter. Through my quick report, I had at least been able to prevent Mail from extending his lead. Nevertheless, the lieutenant gave me a half-hour speech in which he clearly expressed his displeasure about my, in his opinion, twofold failure. That Mail had been able to escape unnoticed, but above all, that it had come to this at all. He linked to a lack of discipline in my troop. I heard nothing more from Mail or about him. I wondered whether he had escaped his pursuers despite my quick report. If so, they certainly wouldn't tell me. Wow. Fear cough removed. Tide of war increased. Shortness of breath removed. No prestige added. Fantastic. Well rested. Excellent physical condition. We searched the whole area, but there was no trace of the deserter. He's probably long gone by now. Were they by any chance searching for Mail? Gather your men. We're marching into battle. I've been discharged from the field hospital and ready for duty again. There's lots in the field hospital now. We are losing more and more equipment, tools and spare parts due to all the shifts in the front lines. Shortages are becoming increasingly common in certain sections. We must pool our resources and bring them to where they are needed most. I know this is an additional burden on your troop, but I would be very grateful if your men could bring me any usable supplies that they can collect from the front lines, Herr Unteroffizier. I distribute according to need, not according to your passion for hoarding. I've seen that you and your men are stockpiling in terms of equipment. Sorry, but your allotted supplies will therefore be somewhat reduced. I still got a grenade though, and I basically it means I didn't get any ammunition. That's fine. Let us go to that battle. Is it anything special, or do we simply need to take the French trench? Forward attack, take the French trenches, a hurrah for the Kaiser. But of course, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to leave the episode there. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm shocked. I'm actually truly shocked by the ending. I guess I need to keep a closer eye on my squad. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, as per always, till the next episode, I hope that you can stay safe, happy, and healthy.